Hello, everyone. Eddie here again. And this time, before I jump into my topic, I actually want to talk about a comic book that I read a long, long time ago. And I'm going to tie it into what I think is going on. So, this comic book starts out with it's from Marvel. It starts out with Doctor Doom. And for those of you who don't know, Doctor Doom is a really bad guy, usually the enemy of the Fantastic Four, but of other heroes. So the way the comic book starts off is that Galactus is coming to Earth, and he's seeking to see if Earth is worthy to be consumed. And how he tells is that how they put up a protection or how they put up a defense. So what happens is as he comes to Earth and his heralds come, which are like Silver Surfer, Fire Lord, some of the other ones, and they start putting these big machines into the planet, the Fantastic Four springs into action. So as the Fantastic Four springs into action and they start fighting the heralds, they begin to lose. And as they lose, they are killed, and then the Earth is destroyed. At the moment that the Earth is destroyed, Doctor Doom actually uses a device that allows him to go into a parallel universe. So he goes into another universe and he watches the events unfold again. So this time, what Doctor Doom does, is he informs like the Earth governments, like agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the military, and he informs them that basically they need to fight off of this attack that's coming. But he waits till after the Fantastic Four dies, and then he sends them in. So everything happens the same way again. Fantastic Four goes to fight, they die. Then the Earth military goes in, Shield goes in, and they're unable to stop uh, the Galactus, and so once again the Earth is destroyed, and Doom transfers and goes to another reality. So he keeps trying this over and over again, trying to lend aid to the Fantastic Four at the last minute with the intent of, I want them to die, but I don't want the Earth to die. So I just want to get aid, but I still want them. I want my enemy eliminated, but I still want to have everything function as normal. So on one jump that he was doing, when he explained that, he was explaining to Nick Fury that you need to bring everything because these heralds are tough. Same thing happens again. Everything falters. The Fantastic Four falls. Shield is unable to help. The Earth government is unable to help. Doom tries to go for it again. This version, Nick Fury decides, oh no, you may go, but this is the last time you're going to do this. And he shoots the device, destroying it. So this is Doom's last attempt at it. So again, it happens just as before. The Fantastic Four goes to fight the Herald. And keep in mind, Doom life is on the line as well now. So the Fantastic Four goes to fight, and they begin to lose, as they always have, lose again when out of nowhere the Avengers show up to aid the Fantastic Four. Also, the combined might of all the scientists, including Reed Richards, Tony Stark, um, uh, Bruce Banner, all the intellects come up with a device to stop Galactus. And so the reason I keep thinking about this story based on all the events that's going on is that I perceived I perceived the Doctor Doom as being somewhat of the judicial department, in that the judicial department wants to whittle away a lot of the executive department. And the reason I'm saying that is that because depending on who is in office, sometimes it seems like, either they take a stern approach or they're kind of flip flopping. And what I'm seeing is that we're in this part where people are talking about, oh, it's a constitutional crisis because what if the Trump administration does not does not respect the rule of law that the judicial has? And yes, that would be a constitutional crisis. But the thing we have to ask ourselves is that how did we get into this position to begin with? And I think part of the reason is that the judicial branch had no problem whittling away the executive's power, and then, you know, giving giving their executive choice like certain immunities, meaning that, the president, if he's doing it in his official duty, is not immune. And what I see is that ever so slowly they were just shaving away their own power because they want to they felt as if they were killing the power of the executive branch, but they were actually hurting themselves. Because if our current president decides he's not going to listen to what the judicial branch says and that they can't enforce it, then what are they going to do? Seriously, this is one of those questions where I don't mean for it to be rhetorically. What are they going to do? You have to ask yourself, what are they going to do? Because they've already said that if he does something in his official capacity, that he's immune to any type of prosecution. So that means nobody from the Department of Justice, even if they had the wherewithal to withstand the onslaught of the MAGA supporters and the people who are sycophants to this president, they still can't do anything because he's immune. And if he doesn't follow their orders, then don't you think the other side will say, well, if you're not going to follow their orders, why should we follow their orders? And so, what other limitations could be put on this president? Well, you have Congress, which is supposed to be a check and balance on the judicial and on the executive, but he pretty much controls Congress. I'm just going to be honest to a lot of people here is that right now, your congressman most likely does not fear you, does not fear your vote. And in their eyes, you're in the bag. They fear the MAGA vote. They fear being primary. They fear losing their job, but they don't fear you, the rational voter, because at the end of the day, you're going to vote pretty much on what's going on at that current period of time. I kind of feel like if we make it through this area or this rough patch, come time for election, whatever is the issue of the day, that's going to be your primary voting issue. It could be it could be our second pandemic with bird flu and schools had to close down and you're upset about that, so you want to vote the politicians out. So the reason I'm bringing up the way this works is that at some point it seems frustrating the way our branches of government work, but yet and still I'm just really impressed at what the founding fathers did, because at the end of the day they did not want us to be swayed so easily or move in one direction so easily. They wanted some type of, like I guess some conflict type structure where each one is vying for their power or keeping their power. But in this current environment, I see the executive branch seeking more power. The legislative branch is seeking to cede that power. At one point, the judicial branch was kinda propping up the executive branch, but now it's slowly stepping away because they're understanding that now their power is coming under attack. And where does that leave the American people? Really, where does that leave the American people at all in all of this? We have an executive that wants to act as a king. We have a legislative branch that will take orders from people that we, the American people, didn't vote in. We have a judicial branch that is really being deference to the executive branch until its power is being challenged. Now you're seeing them trying to stand up. For this one, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't have any answers as to what happens. I do think people should, perhaps do some research on our branches of government and how they're supposed to operate because I think some people don't understand that one branch is not supposed to be over all of the branches. And it doesn't matter. You may think I'm talking about legislative right now, but actually, in my mind, I was thinking judicial. Judicial doesn't necessarily have the final say in everything. So, I guess my challenge or my request to people is pop out a civics book or do a search online. Do some research on how the branches of government work and realize that the founding fathers put in checks and balances for a reason. Because what they understood and what a lot of us, I guess, are seeming not to understand is that men and women are imperfect beings. And given the chance, if they ignore their better angels and embrace some of their more negative virtues, that would leave our country in a bad predicament. And so you need a check and balance. If you don't like a judicial ruling, I don't know. How about make another law based on the Constitution that counteracts what the judicial did? Because you legislative branch gets to make the law. Anyway, I still don't know what am I missing, but I would love to hear your comments in the comment section. And if you keep watching, I will keep creating. Thank you so very much and take care.